Hi everybody, it's clam-man, and I am doing my Limited Planet 2 tutorials. And today what I'm going to show you how to do is how to build an advanced menu. And this is part of the twin stick top-down zombie shooter series that I'm going to do. And we're just going to start with this. There's going to be two parts because the menu is pretty hard to do. So here we go. We're just going to pop in here, and we're going to pop into this level. I already have the menu built, but I'm going to create a new one just to show you how to do it. And as soon as you see it, you'll know why we have to make it a two-parter. This is what we're going to be making. I already have the menu set up, so we can just start really soon. Okay, let's just delete that. So, the setup you'll want to do is to first of all have your menu options. So we have start, options, music, controls, and put some hologram material around them. I used green just because. And so then if you go into music, you'll pop out to this menu. If you go to controls, you'll pop into this menu, which is actually just R1 equals shoot. I just threw that together really quick. I'll be changing it later. And then we have this, which is the sensitivity. And this is in the options, and that's what you'll see when you go into options. So, let's start. So the first thing you want to do is you want to place down two controllinators. I already have one there. And you want to set the settings to disable pop-in controls yes, and automatically enter yes. Then we'll just move this up here, and just make it a bit smaller, because you don't need it so big. Because we're just going to use microchips for this. Now, the range. You want to set the range on this a bit above the checkpoint, and then on this you want it to be just over the controllinator. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to place an OR gate, and we're going to have to increase it to 6 ports. 6 ports, and then we'll plug in up and down, left and right on the stick, then up and down on the D-pad, and left and right on the D-pad, as well as X and circle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go into our sounds, and we're going to go down to, I think, we're going to do musical. Let's see. We're going to have that, and what we're going to do is we're going to place that there, and so triangle, the triangle noise, and what we're going to do is we will just hook this OR gate up to it. So now every time you scroll through anything, it'll go ding. So let's see how that works in play mode. We're going to be testing a lot because it's very good to test, or else you might have a problem and you don't know about it, and you'll just lose the problem forever. So there, it makes the noise. Now, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to make it so that when you scroll through, you will see it scroll through this. So what we're going to do is we're going to place a microchip down. So let's just go get a microchip. And we'll place it right up here in this corner. So we're just going to make it a bit big. And the first thing we want to place down is a selector. So we can get the selector in their advanced logic. And we'll place it down here. And the default is 4 ports, which is what we're going to use. So the thing about the selectors is when you go up and down through cycle, it'll invert it, but not when you're going left and right. So we have to invert this. So I'm just going to do that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have to place an OR gate. So what the OR gate's going to do is going to make it so that we can either scroll through using up and down on the D-pad or on a control stick. So just on a stick. And what we want to place do is cycle, because cycle just cycles through all the options. So let's get an OR gate and rotate it. And we'll put an up and down here. And up and down on the D-pad. And what this will do is it'll cycle through it. So that you can cycle through all the options. And we're going to make this at 4. The starting state is 4. So it'll just automatically start there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that there is camera angles so that you can actually see what you're choosing. So we're just going to place down another microchip right up here. And we're going to make it a bit bigger. And we're going to cycle through 5 options because there's 5 different things that could happen. There's 5 different camera angles that could be at. Could be at this camera angle, this camera angle, this camera angle, this camera angle, this camera angle. So how we're going to do that is it's going to start at this camera angle, but we want it to go to this camera angle immediately. So it's going to start at the 5th port, and that hooks up to absolutely nothing. So what you want to do here is you want to go into your logic and get counter. You take the counter and make the target count 1 and the length 1, and you just place it there, and then you hook it up to reset itself. So we're going to do that, and then what you want to do is you want to hook it up to a camera angle and a movie camera. And what this does is you can set the movie camera to unlimited and then make it come back every time you press circle. So whenever we press circle, we're going to come back to this camera angle. So this is going to be the first camera angle. So that's going to be the first camera angle. And we'll just copy that over when we need to. And we're going to put it in the 2nd port because that's what's going to, because you'll see why later. And then we're going to hook up this to the movie camera and change the movie camera timing to transition time 0 and hold time should be unlimited. It should also not disable the controllers. That's very important. You can also change the flatness if you want, but I'll just leave it at the default of 60. So now we can just copy this because there's going to be 5 different camera angles. 1, but the 5th one is going to be the default one. 2, 3, 4. So we're only going to place 4 here. This is going to be the options camera angle. So the camera angle will be at options. The 3rd camera will be the music. And the 4th camera will be the controls. Now I'm going to do something important here. We're going to need to place down another microchip. And what this is going to do is it's going to make it so that what's going to happen is we're just going to run some nodes through here. The X button, which we'll put at the top. If you don't know how to place a node, it's just X. Just press X. The up and down on this, and the up and down on the D-pad. And what this is it's going to run through the microchip because we don't want you to be selecting anything when you're in the other menu. So we don't want you to select anything in this menu when you're in, for say, the other menus. So instead of hooking them up directly, we're going to hook them up using this microchip, because you can turn microchips on and off, and the signals won't be able to get through to this menu if it's off. So what we're going to do is so that it's only when you're at the first menu. So this is the first menu selector. This selects through the menu, so we're going to hook this up to the microchip to make sure that it's only active, only scroll through this when you're at that menu. Okay, so next thing we need to do is we need to make it so that when you hop in, it'll automatically start you at the first menu. First, let's just hook up these to the other camera angles. So what we need to do is we're going to need to make it, before we test anything, we need to make it so that when you hop in, it automatically starts it. So what we do is, it's kind of weird how you have to do it. Just take a player sensor and place it, and then get a destroyer as well. See, destroyer, it's down here. Then what you need to do is you need to get an OR gate and make it so that either when you press circle or you hop in, then you'll go back to the first menu, or you'll go to the first menu. So we're going to hook that up to the second input so that it'll never go back to the input where there's nothing. So now we're just going to hook up the player sensor to that OR gate, along with circle. And circle will hook directly up to it, so when you're at other menus, you can just go back. And then we will, okay, good, it's plugged in. Then we'll just hook this up to the first, oh, it's already hooked up. So now what we're going to do is going to make it so that when you're in this menu, you can actually make a selection. So you do this by using AND gates. And we're going to place 4 because there's 4 different selections that you can make. I put them like this just because you don't have to put them like that. It's just the way I put them. So we'll just hook them up inverted because we don't want to confuse ourselves. So let's hook these up like this. And there we go, they're all hooked up. So now it's all just normal menu options. Then we're going to hook up X through the microchip to these other side of these AND gates, so that it will make a selection. And the first one, it is the start button, and we're just going to hook that to eject player, so it'll eject you from the seat and it'll automatically put you into the next one. So that's what start does. And then this is the music, or no, not music, options, and we're going to hook that into the camera that does the options, and then we're going to hook this up to the music, and this one to the controls camera. So now we're going to see how that works. If you can go into the menus and scroll through this one, then go into the other menus, but you won't be able to scroll through the other menus. Let's see if that works. So we can scroll through the menus, and it makes a sound. And we can go to the other menus, but we can't go back. And this is because I forgot to hook up the destroyer. And that's why this is weird. Because if there's a signal that keeps on going to the pulse, it won't actually do the pulse again. So we need to hook this pulse up to the destroyer so that it's not getting a constant signal from it. And that should work. Let's see if that works. I'm pretty sure there's a different way that you could do it, but I think that the destroyer is just simple and everybody can understand it. So we go in, scroll through it, and we can go to the other menus and back. And when we press start, we go into the next one. We should. There might be something wrong with it. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to make it so that you can make selections in other menus. So we're going to do the sensitivity first. The options menu. So we get actually a microchip first, because we need to be able to turn it on and off. So just place the microchip in the corner and bring it down here. Make it a bit bigger and make it so that it's only active when you're in the options menu. So just hook that up to here. Or actually the selector input is better because we don't want it to just pulse once. So now we need to use a 10-port selector. So I'm making it big. So number of ports, 10. And what we're going to do is we're going to hook up the sideways button to cycle through it. And I'm just going to point out that you don't need to make your menu like me. I just make it because that's how I make it. So we're going to actually take these numbers over to here. And what I'm going to do is, since sideways isn't inverted, I'm just going to hook them up when you're not here. So basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to be hooking up 1 to turn on 1, the input 2 to turn on 2, input 3 to turn on 3, 4 to turn on 4, and so on. And since the recommended sensitivity will be 5, I'll change the current state to 5, so it'll automatically be at 5 when you log in. Well, that's basically it for today, and I'll see you soon with part 2 of how to make this advanced menu for a zombie shooter. Okay, see you then. Bye.